Good evening. It's Friday, and Week 9 of the NFL brought us a blowout matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, today we're going to cover kind of just a couple topics about that game. So, are you ready to get your fix? Well, last night we got to witness another great performance from the one and only Aaron Rodgers. Now, look, last night we saw just how good Aaron Rodgers can be when he is given a challenge and when he gets hot. Okay, he came into this game missing Allen Lazard, who's the number 2 receiver, and was without their 2 backup running backs, Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon, due to COVID. Now, he absolutely tore apart that 49ers defense like it was practice. Okay, the 49ers, they literally had no clue what to do and how to stop the Packers from really constantly marching down the field. Now, the only thing that was somewhat good for the 49ers defense was their pass rush. But even then, okay, and we've seen this in the past, Rodgers has one of, if not the fastest releases in the NFL and does a great job of not committing turnovers. Now, you give Aaron Rodgers more than 3 seconds in the pocket, you can pretty much kiss the game or drive goodbye, because he's going to find a way to make a play just like he did, or just like he does really every Sunday at some point. It usually happens every game. You'll always see at least one big play from him where it kind of makes you just go, wow, okay, he still got it. But literally every Sunday he does it. And some Sundays he excels, some he not so much. But you see it all the time. Now, another thing to note about the Packers is that Davante Adams is absolutely, and I'm saying absolutely, unbelievable. Okay, if you remember, when I gave you my top 5 wide receivers, I had Davante Adams as my 4th best receiver in the NFL. Well, today, I am officially changing that and putting him as the best receiver in the NFL, number 1 over Julio Jones, over DeAndre Hopkins. This guy is just incredible. Even with missing a couple games, Adams, he really hasn't lost a step. Okay, in fact, he's actually gotten better. I mean, have you seen his change of direction and the way he uses his feet? This man had a 49-yard reception in the third quarter where the defensive back was kind of playing him off him about 5 to 7 yards. And still, Davante ran out there. He ran out, I think it was about 10 yards. All of a sudden, he stuttered a bit, like where you'd think he's going to break off in a route. And that defensive back actually stopped, okay, and tried to come forward for a little bit. And then Davante Adams, bam, runs right by him and is wide open for a reception. If you don't watch many Packers games or watch any highlights of Davante Adams, you're missing out. Okay, this man literally does what he did last night every single Sunday without slowing down or getting tired. Let's look at his past 3 games, okay? Starting with the Houston Texans game. Adams, he was targeted 16 times, had 13 receptions and 196 yards with 2 touchdowns. Okay, next you go to last week against Minnesota, where he was targeted 11 times, had 7 receptions for 53 yards, and then 3 touchdowns. Okay, so the yards weren't really there, but he still got into the end zone 3 times for his team. Now, finally, you got last night. Okay, he was targeted 12 times, 10 receptions, 173 yards, and a touchdown. This man catches literally everything that comes his way and always reaches the end zone. 6 touchdowns in 3 games is crazy, and most receivers like Julio Jones only get about 6 or 8 a season. And now Adams has a total of 8 for the year, okay, and he isn't slowing down. I'm pretty sure I seen a statistic that with the 8 touchdowns, he's the first receiver since Randy Moss to have 8 touchdowns in his first 6 games in a season. Okay, that's pretty incredible. Now, also, if you remember, I said Marquez Valdez-Scantling is not that good. Okay, and the Packers need to find a better third receiver. Well, last night he actually showed up, okay? He had 2 touchdowns on 2 receptions. So he may have not gotten the ball a lot, but when he did, he made it count. He had one, Aaron Rodgers at the end of the game said he's like, yeah, Valdez-Scantling made some plays. I'm happy for him. I'm really proud. He had one pass where he dropped it, which is unfortunate. He's got to be better at that. And it kind of made me chuckle just because you knew Rodgers was going to throw him the ball because he doesn't trust him 100%. But when he did, he scored on those 2 receptions that he actually had. So he had a pretty nice outing last night. Now, the 49ers last night looked awful. Okay, now I get that they're riddled with injuries, but for the most part, they showed that they have the ability to move the ball downfield. They just can't get into the end zone. Okay, without George Kittle or their top receivers like Brandon Ayuk. Now, last night we seen the 49ers team get steamrolled, okay, and looked completely different from last week where they actually put up some type of fight against the Seahawks. This is a bad team right now, okay? When their starters are out, and it could, and more than likely will hurt their chances at making the playoffs. But look, we can't get rid of the 49ers just yet. They are riddled with injuries. They're in a really tough division. They just got to play better, and they know it. Nick Mullins doing just fine this year, or last night. So they got a couple things to figure out, but we'll see where it goes from there. So my top 3 players for the Packers are going to be Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Now for the 49ers, I got Nick Mullins, who played the best he could and did a solid job from what I've seen. Then Richie James, okay, who had 184 receiving yards. This was the entire offense for the 49ers. They used him almost pretty much every play he was out there. And then lastly, Fred Warner for some good defense. Well, that's going to end our discussion today, as now we wait for Sunday with some pretty good matchups taking place, like the Seahawks versus the Bills, and then you get the Lions versus the Vikings trying to fight for a division spot here, and then Ravens versus Colts and Saints Bucks, which is the probably the game that I'm most looking forward to actually seeing if the Bucks can come back from that Week 1 loss against the Saints. And now the Saints have Michael Thomas, but the Bucks have Antonio Brown. It's going to be a fun game. We'll see what happens. But hey, this Sunday's going to be a fun one. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you Monday. And you just got your fix with the Wicks.